Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another discussion episode. This is not Key Thoughts. This is a Outpost rating episode, and I have not played all these Outposts, so I'm looking more on a theoretical basis. I do happen to have two of these Outposts, and this is a spoiler episode. So if you're avoiding Winds of Exchange, you should tune out now because everything said from here on out we'll be discussing and looking at cards, specific cards from the new set coming out. All right, so let's get right into it here. And of course, I'm using the great tool for any sort of KeyForge related information that you need, and that is Archon Arcana. Archon Arcana, get the most you need out of your KeyForge knowledge. So here we go. We have so far I have not seen an Equidon outpost. I don't know if it hasn't shown up yet and that's why, or what the situation is, but as a result, I will not be talking about that. So I'll be omitted from this list. But we have here the Broken Axe outpost, which is, they all have an action and they all do the same thing, which is put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. And they each do a different effect as a result. So first off, we're going to go Brobnar with a Broken Axe. You get an Ember Pip, and then it says if you do put this friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck, you deal 6 damage to an enemy creature. Cool. We got the Nyan Outpost from Mars. You do not get a Ember Pip, but the action you get to make after putting, so we're going to just, instead of saying the same thing over and over again, it is implied that you are putting a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. Okay. Now here we go. So this one makes 2 token creatures, Lightbringer Outpost. Friendly creature captures 3 Ember. You get an Ember Pip for that one. Ambrosia Outpost. You also get an Ember Pip for that one. You get to move 1 Ember from a friendly creature to your pool. Ganymede, you also get an Ember Pip. And you archive 2 cards. And then Azure Basin for the fish is you get an Ember Pip for playing and then exhaust 3 enemy creatures. So with all this being said, I don't know why Mars specifically is omitted an Ember Pip. That seems kind of weird to me. But yeah, that's super strange. I don't get that one. Maybe that was not accurate. Maybe, I don't know, it looks like there is an actual deck it belongs to based on the name at the bottom. So the other thing we're going to go on about these is each one happens to have art done by Balance Sheet. So that's the one cool thing about all of these. Now, I want to kind of talk about these in a little bit, and then I'm going to rank them, which ones I think are the best to the ones I think is least best. I don't think really any are bad. I just think there's more utilization from certain ones more so than others. So first off, the main thing that we can talk about the outpost that is really neat is that the idea I think behind these truly is to either get a great creature with the playability back into your deck that you will get before you actually cycle your deck, or 2 is to put a token creature from your battle line that is actually a card you would like back into your deck before it happens to go into the discard pile. It also becomes information your opponent sees, so therefore they do not know what you're putting back. It just provides that level of, I guess, decision making within the game. So that is one cool thing that all the outposts provide, no matter what. Now, if we go to Broken Axe, put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner deck, deal 6 damage. So this is just standard great removal. 6 power is nothing to scoff at. You're going to take care of most things that could be problematic with 6 damage. So yeah, this one is solid removal in that regard. That means every time you're calling Brobnar, you essentially should be able to remove a creature off the board. Next we have the Nyan Outpost. Make 2 token creatures. I mean, that's fantastic because you can literally swap 1 token for another. The only thing that I guess is the caveat to this one is that it's going to be dependent on what your token is. So if you have a less than desirable token, vanilla token, or one that you don't really care for, this is not going to put in a lot of work that you like. One cool thing is though, is there's a lot of synergy with tokens. So with the right token, this is going to be really strong. Maybe that's why it doesn't have a pip on it is because you're getting 2 creatures on the board. Then we move on to the Sanctum Lightbringer Outpost. I really like the art on this one, actually. I think Broken Axe in this one is super tight, but if I had to like choose one at the top, I'm probably going with Lightbringer Outpost as my favorite. So put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, capture 3. I mean, anytime you can basically call Sanctum and capture 3, that is pretty powerful, and we know the way things work within this, that having Captured Ember can be really strong in different ways within this set. So I think that this one is very strong just for being Ember control. Moving on to the next 3, we got Saurian with the Ambrosia Outpost. And that one is moving one from a friendly creature to your pool. If you got dinos, you're probably exalting. If Sanctum's also in your deck, you're probably capturing. So this is nice for a little bit of extra turn after turn Ember generation potentially. The fact that it's only 1 Ember means that it's not particularly powerful, but it is doing something you're not disappointed with. Ganymede Outpost. This one I think is my favorite. Quite a bit from it is the lore from the Wibble and Plimps, whatever it is, that KeyForge novel. They reference Ganymede Outpost in that, I believe, quite a bit. So actually having a card that represents something within the KeyForge literature is just a really fun thing. And then on top of it, you're archiving 2 cards. Not a lot of archiving in this set. So this is really fun. And this is one I've actually played with, and I found it led me to call Star Alliance, which is a little bit underwhelming in Winds of Exchange, a little bit more with this card, because even though I may not be doing something incredible with my Star Alliance turn, I was actually really setting up a strong potential turn moving down the line with another house by just archiving and then drawing more cards that turn. So I found this one particularly nice and did all the nice things. Yeah, the art is really cool in this, but I just feel like this kind of like darker dusk sort of vibe really is Balance Sheet's wheelhouse. Like even the Mars one, the daytime is cool, but I just love the moodiness of the nighttime that Balance Sheet does. And then last we have the Azure Basin Outpost, which is the fish one, and it says if you do, you exhaust 3 enemy creatures. I mean, this one I think could be really cool in the sense that it is going to provide you with means to synergize with other cards within the fish, so it's really good in that regard. But I think again it's going to be deck dependent on how strong it is, but always exhausting 3 enemy creatures turn after turn potentially if you got a really strong fish house could be really good. All right, so here we go. Let's go into the ranking now. So out of all of these, which one am I putting the highest? I'm putting Ganymede. The ability to be a little bit more efficient, the fact that they're not the most exciting house in this set does make this have, I guess, almost a drawback, but I really like the archiving aspect, and having utilized it, I know how powerful it is. So this is the one that I think is the best outpost that is in existence for this. That's my hot take. And following that up, I'm gonna have to say the Lightbringer Outpost. Reason being is being able to capture, having this basically Ember control on a stick that you can use with Sanctum is just going to be really helpful to keeping you in the game, buying a turn. And since Sanctum is kind of not amazing in this set, it also provides you a moment where you can call on it to probably use it for Ember control, maybe cycle. So it has that dual thing where you can get back into the house you want, but keeping you in the game for that moment. So I really see this outpost being quite strong as we go along. From there, I'm actually really torn between the Azure Basin and the Broken Axe, because they're both kind of doing a board control in a way. I'm kind of inclined to go with Broken Axe over Azure in this regard, just because you are dealing damage and you're taking something off the board, and that's pretty guaranteed with Broken Axe, where Azure I think is going to be stronger depending on your fish list, and if they can synergize with that exhausted creature aspect really strong, I think it could be really good. So those two I think are kind of neck and neck in third, and then it's going to be deck dependent, which could make Azure kind of edge out in that third spot. And then from there, we have the Neon Outpost. And this one, I think, is the most situational. This one probably could be considered the best one if your token is really good and you have a really strong token synergistic deck. I know it's like kind of in the third or fourth position. It's almost second to last in a way. But if you have really good tokens, this could easily be number one or number two, depending. So this one is kind of has to have an asterisk next to it, because the tokens you're able to make is really going to dictate how powerful this is and how it ranks. So it's got the greatest swing with potential and how good it is. And then lastly, bringing up the rear, we got the Ambrosia Outpost. I just think just getting one Ember compared to what all the others do is not that beneficial. Because I mean, Broken Axe, if a creature has captured Ember, you're basically getting all that there. So I just think that Ambrosia is the worst of these, and the worst by a considerable amount. I don't think it was hard at all to put this on the bottom for me. So yeah, that's my ranking. If you have other thoughts, other ways you would do these, I'd love to see in the comments. Like literally just write them and put them in order. I want to see what everyone else thinks their top ones would be, and see if we have a consensus here. Maybe I'll have a little follow-up during key thoughts in the future. So let me know your thoughts on the outposts, and if anyone knows what the Equidon outpost is, it wasn't on here, please let me know, and I would love to weigh in on that one as well. And as always, folks, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.